can't afford to let this breakout player walk in free agency. As the Miami Heat ponder their future, they can't ignore a key contributor to it. The Miami Heat will need to make changes if they hope to take a significant step forward in 2025 to 26, but the one area in which they must create stability is in their handling of DaVon Mitchell's restricted free agency. Mitchell, 26, played out the final season of his rookie-scale contract during the 2024-25 campaign. Previously on pace to enter free agency with more questions than answers, Mitchell redefined his reputation after the Heat traded for him just before the deadline. In 30 games and 15 starts with the Heat, Mitchell continued to solidify his status as one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA, and finally found his niche on offense. Mitchell posted averages of 10.3 points, 5.3 assists, 2.7 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and 1.4 three-point field goals made in 31.6 minutes per game with the Heat. It was a massive step forward from the defensive specialist, who had quietly begun to solidify his two-way value before Miami put the spotlight on him. Now headed toward restricted free agency and what should be the biggest payday of his career thus far, Mitchell will likely have suitors around the NBA. His defensive quality is unquestioned, and his offensive game seems to be progressing in a more than adequate manner. Miami needs to be honest with itself about the changes that need to be made, but re-signing Mitchell should be a top priority for the front office. Miami Heat must re-sign DaVon Mitchell in free agency. The Sacramento Kings selected Mitchell at number 9 overall in the 2021 NBA Draft. He'd earned the reputation of a defensive menace during his illustrious collegiate career, during which time he won a national championship and both the NABC and Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year awards. The hope was that Mitchell would bottom out as an elite 3-and-D player after he shot a mesmerizing 44.7% from beyond the arc during his final season at Baylor. Unfortunately, he buried just 31.7% of his attempts through his first 2 NBA seasons. Despite the fact that he'd only played 2 years in the association, a reputation was thus formed. He was praised as an excellent defensive player, but was miscast as an individual whose value was offset by his limitations on offense, including his lackluster jump shot. No one seemed to pay attention when Mitchell shot 36.1% from beyond the arc in 2023-24, nor when he buried 39.8% of his attempts in 2024-25. Furthermore, Mitchell's development as a facilitator began before his tenure in Miami. He'd averaged 6.8 assists per 36 minutes through 44 appearances with the Toronto Raptors in 2024-25 before tallying a mark of 6.1 per 36 with the Heat. Boasting a career average of 5.4 assists per 36 minutes, it's safe to describe Mitchell as a productive and more than capable playmaker. Furthermore, even when his offense may falter, Mitchell remains one of the absolute best defensive players in the NBA. He's also a positive influence in the locker room, with Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra going as far as to say that Mitchell gave Miami the passion to reach the play-in tournament. The Heat reserve the right to match any offer Mitchell receives in free agency, and unless it's a truly unreasonable deal, they must do everything they can to keep him in Miami. Miami Heat associate head coach Quinn was rumored to be a finalist for the Suns' head coaching gig before Shams Charania dropped the bomb that it was down to Johnny Bryant and Jordan ought to land the job. It is unclear if Quinn took himself out of the running or did not make the cut, but Heat fans should be breathing a sigh of relief either way. Quinn started his NBA career in Miami and played 3 seasons with the Heat as a backup guard. His playing career took several turns before he wound up on Miami's staff in 2014. Quinn worked 2 years in player development before being promoted to assistant coach and eventually associate head coach. He just finished his 11th season on Erik Spoelstra's staff and is certainly ready for a head coaching shot. Everyone was rooting for Quinn to land the Suns gig, but nobody is complaining about his return. He has proven to be elite, and the Heat will likely surprise fans next season. Quinn will play a massive role in that success. Quinn is out of the running for the Suns' head coaching job. Quinn also may have dodged a bullet. Phoenix has fired 3 head coaches in 3 seasons. They are likely to trade Kevin Durant this summer, but will still have delusional expectations of contending from owner Matt Ishbia. The 41-year-old does not want his first head coaching gig to be a short-lived nightmare where he is fired after 1 season at the helm. Quinn has stability with the Heat. He should wait for the right opportunity where he has a runway to implement his schemes without the expectations of being an instant title contender while lacking the needed talent. It will be interesting to see how Quinn missing out on the gig impacts the Heat's rumored interest in Sergio Scariolo. The international legend has been an NBA assistant before, but may not want to be the number 3 in Miami. Only time will tell if anything comes of it. Expect Chris Quinn to be linked to every head coaching role in the near future. He has built his resume as an assistant and is just waiting for the chance. It wasn't meant to be in Phoenix, but his time is coming. The Miami Heat have work to do this offseason. They were dominated by the Cavaliers in the first round of the playoffs and need more talent to be a serious threat next season. Can Pat Riley find a superstar? If not, how does he upgrade their roster? Adding talent is a must, especially if the Heat want to avoid the play-in tournament and win their first playoff series since Jimmy Butler's exit. It is a crucial offseason in South Beach. At least, the Heat will have Chris Quinn back on the bench to help maximize their talent. It won't be enough for a deep playoff run. That is on Riley and the front office to add the necessary talent. It's no secret that the Miami Heat have an issue at the point guard position. Terry Rozier's tenure on South Beach will likely end this summer. As such, Erik Spoelstra may need multiple new ball handlers ahead of the 2025-26 season. In a recent mock draft from Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports, the Heat are projected to select a long-term prospect at the guard position. Nolan Traore is a guard out of St. Quentin of the LNB elite. Pat Riley said he has no plans to retire and that 80 is the new 60, so it's hard to imagine the Heat going with a raw project in the draft, O'Connor wrote. But would a talent like Traore be too much to pass up? The Frenchman oozes upside with his size, blazing speed and shiftiness off the bounce. Inefficient scoring and erratic decision-making are the big concerns with him, but he's played his best basketball in recent months by shooting nearly 40% from 3 and 80% from the line. Riley may want to win now, but maybe he should think about the long-term future of the franchise, too. Traore has played 2 seasons as a professional in France. This past season, he played in 30 games, averaging 11.6 points, 5.1 assists and 1.7 rebounds. He shot 30.4% from deep and 39.2% from the field. So, while Traore would join Miami with more experience than most rookies, he is certainly still a project that will need time to develop. Russel Westbrook could be a short-term solution even if the Heat do draft Traore. They're still going to need a short-term solution at the guard position. Bailey Bassett of Clutch Points has pinpointed Russel Westbrook as a potential answer to those problems once he becomes available. Nobody would question Westbrook's hustle, work ethic, or competitiveness, Bassett wrote. All of these factors make him a solid free agency fit for the Miami Heat. Westbrook is unlikely to sign for more than the veteran minimum, and adding good players for cheap has to be something that would intrigue the Heat. Westbrook would be a strong addition to Miami's starting lineup. Assuming Traore joins via the draft, Spoelstra would have the perfect blend of youth and experience for the coming season. Heat have other issues beyond a point guard. Unfortunately for the Heat, the point guard position is just one of the team's issues. Pat Riley must also find a way to replace the all-star impact the team lost when Jimmy Butler left for the Golden State Warriors. During a recent episode of the Zach Lowe Show podcast, it was noted that Bam Adebayo's scoring struggles are why he won't ever be viewed as a top-tier star in the NBA. This is what Bam is, Lowe said. The Heat need him to score 25, 27, 28 a game. It's not going to happen. That's just not what he's going to be, and that's fine. Different players can do different things. He's never going to be a top 10 to 15 player for the most part because of that. he's still awesome, and you just need to realize that. If the Heat are going to contend for a championship, they need an elite talent leading the way. Both Tyler Herro and Adebayo are better suited to complementary roles. As such, Riley will likely target a new lead star. However, big-time trades are not easy to pull off. Therefore, the Heat do run the risk of starting next season with a similar roster to the one that got swept in the opening round of the playoffs. And for Heat fans, that would be a disaster.